Can you hear me? I wish they had some type of sensory that shows your voice fluctuation and frequency so that I would know if I was being projected onto the phone or not. Hello? There's a lot of bugs out here. Hello? Welcome to Hugo Mlkkuh. And of course, you know the kuh is for sacred cow. We're going to wait and see how many people come in. If any people come in. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope I'm not on mute. That's what I'm trying to figure out now. Okay. Let's see. It looks like the volume's on. It looks like the camera's off how I want it. Welcome, welcome to the audience of Hugo Mlkkuh. I'm out here communing with the very insects and the dragonflies sitting in the grass, preparing to speak to you all about this very important topic called symbolic annihilation. If you were able to catch my impromptu conversation with you last time, which was about what was happening to me on a physical level in terms of the torture, the terror, and the trauma inflicted upon me from various hate groups through digital technology that's being used in ways that it was never intended. You know that I have a reason for speaking on the topic of symbolic annihilation. So I said not too long ago in a quote, my brain is the formula they stole. And my name is Erica Clark. My moniker is Erica Clark Wise, the Renaissance. And like I said, as we entered into this conversation lately, let me know, can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me. I see several people here. Can you give me a little comment? Can you hear what I'm saying? I want to make sure before I begin that it's very clear what I'm saying. Can you hear what I'm saying? Put a little chat. Okay? And so I think everyone can hear me. I think we're loud and clear now. So this week we're talking about symbolic annihilation. And when we look at the meaning of symbolic annihilation, it's really about liberation versus bondage in terms of the power structures that are supposedly put in place to keep the glue and the fabric of our existence in a holistic way moving forward. But lately I've been studying a lot of nature. My name is Erica Clark Wise, the Renaissance, my moniker. I've been studying nature, and that includes dragonflies. They've been flooding my life. And these agile air beings are a powerful symbol of personal growth, evolution, and they rise into new phases of life. You know, the dragonfly symbolizes seeing beyond illusions, seeing the truth in a heightened sense of awareness, especially during times of confusion and deception. They are tied to the emotional realm, and they signal deep emotional healing, especially with grief, trauma, and the unconscious. And so I've been studying about nature and also looking at some of the symbolism in our society, such as the panopticon. The panopticon is a symbol of imprisonment. It was supposed to be created for the formation of the perfect prison. It was created in 1787 by a man named Jeremy Bentham. He was an English philosopher. And there's 300 prisons around the world that follow this model of how it's designed. It has mirrored glass in the interior corridor, and it has a circle in diameter of 100 feet, and each jail cell has a secure parameter that's 9 feet deep and 48 cells per floor. So that's 4 plus 8 equals 12, 1 plus 2 equals 3 in numerology sense. And the cells rise 6 floors. Every other floor is a guard surveilling 2 floors of prisoners. The concept is built upon the theory of the guard watches the prison and the prisoners don't know they're being watched. There's a center auditorium, a lecture hall, a wall of screens that rise and separate chapel from the prisoners, or from seeing each other from across the empty space in the middle of the spiral staircase. This is the architecture. The philosopher indicated he felt the panopticon would be applicable to all establishments whatsoever. And that was the quote. So this episode, we're exploring symbolic annihilation, especially through sound, vibration, frequency, and ancient memory, architecture, and how returning to the mystic opulence of being neutral versus having demonic views can be explored in things like the Bhagavad Gita, and how even in a spiritual book like that, women are prisoners to be watched but not appreciated and considered lower than even anyone mentioned in the book. So we have an ongoing, systematic understanding that just like the dragonfly symbolizes internal potency, we have opposing views in society. Some have desire, some have hate, but they birth something. Desire has always been labeled religiously as something that we should be concerned about. But I would rather you explore hate as being more pressing a concern for our society than desire, because they both birth something. And as the dragonfly teaches us about how we rebirth ourselves, it's important that within the Bhagavad Gita, it teaches that there are spiritual planets to reach within ourselves, where we birth and we take part in death in a place that's daily. It's day and night. And we merge into manifested matter based upon our abilities. But when you have a pressure system that watches, like the panopticon, and crunches upon your liberties and your boundaries, and watches you like through a two-way looking glass, your manifestation of matter can go into a state of annihilation, just like it teaches in the Bhagavad Gita. So we return to darkness in order for us to pass through the light. And so when you find yourself in a system that has symbolically tried to annihilate you, like it tries to do so many of us, when you look up the context of the word and the phrase, you'll understand who it usually targets. And when we realize this and the femicide rates are through the roof, we have to turn to self for our material manifestation. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that the mind is the friend of the conditioned soul. That's in chapter 6. I was reading it today, preparing for this podcast. So in helpless annihilation situations, what happens is that the oppressor tries to steal you away at night, trying to annihilate you through a sense of possession that they don't own. They'll even sacrifice your hearing. They'll sacrifice your vision. They'll sacrifice the way that you worship God through a slavery game based on insight I read from the chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita, a religious book out of India. One has to be eligible to receive this weapon of knowledge. And when it's stolen through systems of oppression and slavery games, then the liberation is not free from duality. Liberation, we're embarking upon a paradigm where liberation can free us from duality. People are so stuck on saying, oh, it's a dualistic world. But the Bhagavad Gita teaches us that enjoying the pleasures within without delighting in them helps us to rejoice within liberation. All living beings, according to the Bhagavad Gita, and I will also add the ancestors as living beings, always see beyond the trance. The simulation that they create to entrap us in the slavery game is a trance. It's a renunciation of your personal boundaries and your ability to do things that you need to do for your purpose. And if you get entrapped in these trances, you won't be prepared. You won't even be prepared for the mental war. And it's a problem that a lot of men have in invading upon lesbian spaces. This is a space for everyone. Don't get it wrong. It's not a lesbian space per se, but I am a lesbian polymath scientist, self-proclaimed. And I've been sacrificing much pleasure for the desires of my heart. And that is for me to continue on this self-mastery journey, keeping my boundaries up from the jealous niggas who wish to invade upon me. There's 8 parts to the ego, the false ego. Earth, water, ether, air, intelligence, fire, false ego, and mind. Those are material energies that create. When someone tries to harness you through symbolic annihilation, you cannot create what God intended. There's a superior energy to every man-made device of demise that wishes to take us out. And that's the manifestation energy I tap into. So, in bringing this to a close, we have to recognize the subtle power of vibrational frequencies that surround us. As we face more and more division by sex, S-E-C-T-S, sex, look it up if you don't know what it means, and organizations that come vigilante in nature and wish to eliminate some to make others stand up taller, we have to recognize that these things are not a part of our purpose. No treachery done to another man or woman can be said to be a purpose. It only can be said to be a distraction. And so I hope that these words mean much to you in your venture beyond the screen of the veil. Because the veil has no bearing on the heart that has the containment of God. The veil only keeps you from your higher purpose, your higher knowing. But we can overcome all things. And I thank you for being here. Erica Clark Wise, the Renaissance, signing off on Hugo Mlkkuh. And the kuh, you know, is for sacred cow. Take care.